All right, the next movie on our list, No Escape, 1994, a.k.a. Escape from Absolom Island. Tom, take it away.
Yeah, I got Jude's notes. So what do we got over here? We want to go over the budget or the box office? Well, how do
you tell us
it?
the budget. And then
I'll tell you the budget.
Then they guess the box office.
Compared to Soldier, 20 million was the budget.
Okay, it's Kurt Russell's salary.
Yeah.
I'm going to say box office draw is 28 million. It couldn't have done well.
It's a decent cast in this movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good cast.
Now it's a good cast.
Well,
back then,
Ray Liotta.
It was a good cast back then.
Ray Liotta was famous then.
Okay.
Wasn't
Ernie
he?
Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. Bishop.
Is this
Bishop.
Whoever Bishop's real name is.
It's Matt Vader's best friend.
We're not going to tell that
Lance
story.
Henriksen.
I'm going to say 42 million.
It's a bold statement.
So I don't know.
Matt, you already know, yeah?
Yes, I do.
22 million.
Okay.
No, it was 15.
It says 22 million in
well,
writing.
Jude is notoriously.
They always have this.
They have this
argument.
fight.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Matt always goes, well, actually, it was, and then Jude gets mad. And then they have a little.
You want me
tiff.
to get mad?
And
Yeah,
then,
I get
This
mad.
goddamn bullshit! I'll just read what was given to me.
They'll be like, "Am I doing this or you?"
All right.
So
Give us the synopsis.
It's a short one. I don't think she liked this movie.
She kind of phoned it in this week, didn't she?
Literally, yeah. This has been an email. She sent me an email.
Here, read this shit.
Yeah, not a text. It's straight up email. It's like okay. Ray Liotta don't take orders from anyone anymore. When he refuses to take orders from the Supermax warden, he gets dumped onto the island of misfit boys and has to figure out how to get him and his new best friend, babyface Kevin Dillon, off the island. Unfortunately, there's no escape.
that's it.
That's it.
I told you it was a short one.
So the first
Jude.
Okay, so first of all, this movie takes place in 2022,
It's so funny.
which is amazing.
Which is this year.
Which is this year, the year that we're recording this podcast.
And
Year of our Lord.
The better thing is it's made in 1994.
And-
so they figured in 20 years, this is the world.
So
They weren't far off.
They're not far off.
yeah.
I think.
Oh,
this-
it's happening right now.
honestly, this is a great concept. I've been.
Well, it's not like we haven't had
But
prisoner islands
listen,
before.
The whole escape
Australia.
from New York, the whole
Georgia.
escape from New York, the whole escape from LA, this movie, and there's probably other ones. I love that idea. Just take all the criminals and people we don't want, just throw them on a fucking island somewhere, and let it go.
So the funny thing about this movie is that it's based off of a novel called The Penal Colony from
Yes, I have
1987.
insight on this as well.
And it was written by Richard Hurley, and he basically, in the novel, it's this island that's right off the coast of the UK where basically prisons are being overcrowded. So the government starts dumping their criminals on this island. And
As one does.
And the main character in this, so like he's wrongly convicted of a sex murder. And then like he's dumped on this island, and on the island there are two factions, one that's like civilized and the other that's kind of feral. And in order to get into the civilized part, you have to survive a week out with the feral people. And so it's about this guy's journey and redemption and all this other stuff. So apparently the book is actually very good. So I don't know what happened in the adaptation for the movie.
So I remember looking into it because I liked this movie when it came out. I was like, I don't know, young. And I remember looking into it. And apparently the book is really gay. Yeah, like
Do you care to expand upon that?
Yeah, well, because it's prison, right?
Right.
But like the civilized society, they're all like decent people. So like in the scene where they're all like dancing and all that for like Christmas,
Oh yeah.
it's a hint to the book where that society was very gay. And like when the guys die in the boat, there was an overreaction by some of the guys, and it was because it was like their lover that was in the boat.
Wow.
And yeah, and so it was just a weird thing because they definitely couldn't put that in the movie in 1994. That was
Right.
still pretty taboo.
Yeah,
like,
don't ask, don't tell.
yeah, it was still don't ask, don't tell. I mean, like, what did we have? Will and Grace back then, maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like super forefront. And
Yeah.
it was a big part of the book. And I remember reading that. I was like, oh, that's such a weird thing.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Yeah. And so that whole civilized society was more like, no, we love each other. And the other ones are like, no, we eat each other.
So going into this movie, I had no expectations whatsoever. I knew it was a prison escape movie. I don't think it quite fits the sci-fi title. Well, once they get on the island, it's not sci-fi anymore. I don't
He
think.
has that gun.
That's a rocket launcher.
Had those weird helicopters.
They were just helicopters.
I know.
It doesn't count as
They
sci-fi.
had two rotors.
They had satellites.
They did have satellites.
That's not sci-fi.
They had a command center.
Okay, so like when I was watching this first like 20 minutes or so, maybe even less than that, when they're in the actual prison, I thought this was going to be the movie. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah. It's going to be like Escape from Alcatraz, but like with sci-fi weird shit, holograms and lasers and stuff like that. No, they get rid of that motif real quick and they move into like Lost Boys on a Planet and Lord of the Flies. And I was just like, I once they went to the island, I was so checked out. I was so hyped
Really?
for, yeah, I want the concrete walls and metal bars and guys with crazy helmets and like weird, like,
you wanted Fortress.
I wanted sci-fi. I did.
I was waiting for a moment to strike.
Fortress was the last movie I watched on this list, and it's the only one that fits all three criteria.
You're not wrong. This is. I don't know if I'd call this really sci-fi either, but I feel like it just kind of like.
It's dystopian.
It's set in the future. It's dystopian.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I love that
weird and
I love that
goofy.
the warden.
future of 2022.
2022. I love that the warden of the prison is the mayor from New York in
Godzilla.
in Godzilla 98.
You know, pretty soon Alex is going to start taking his kids to movies, and it's going to be in the future 2062.
Oh yeah,
and
my kids are.
They're going to go to the movies when they're like 35 and go, well, shit, this isn't cool. Why don't I have flying cars and stations on Mars and stuff? Well, they probably will.
They might,
but
who knows?
you know, who knows? But
anyway, I liked the first couple minutes of this movie. I was like digging it. I was like, okay, he's going to escape from the prison. He's going to kill the warden. I was all about it. And then they went to the island, and I was like, God damn it, dude. I like, it's the same thing with like the garbage planet. You know, everything's filmed in a junkyard somewhere off the strip of Las Vegas.
They filmed it in Australia.
Yeah.
North Queensland.
So was Fortress. Both
like,
in Australia.
Like they straight up stole the same armor from Dustin Hoffman's Hook movie.
what was all left in the
Where they had like reeds tied together for
only
armor.
had $20 million to
if you're stuck on if you're stuck on an island with a bunch of savages that want to eat you,
Yeah.
what are you going to make armor out
I
of?
don't know where'd they get the freaking V8 Chevy engine from.
I don't know. It's dumped on the water.
Where'd they get all the speakers for their Christmas party?
Dude, they had supply drops.
Yeah.
This is the second movie that has
Garbage
a weird,
washes up on the shore.
Yeah, you never been to a deserted island? There's things
Yeah,
there.
they literally show Kevin J. O'Connell scavenging from like the ocean. So like he's got his little group of scavengers and they're pulling shit out of the ocean, and then like he barters and trades.
He's like, I want your boots. I really want your boots.
It's not the same, but I growing up on the riverbank, they would flood every year, right? So like when I was a kid,
Tell us more stories.
No, for real. We had a great time after the flood every year. We would go down to the river. And we had like 5 miles of riverbank that we would explore, and we would find all kinds of shit.
I would really love to hear how you found a V8 Chevy engine
we found
drifting
boats.
in the ocean.
We found boats.
Well, there was no distributor.
Fishing gear, freaking all kinds of stuff.
You generally find fishing gear down by the water.
Yeah, found dead goats hanging in the tree where the water line was up one time.
No, don't go over there.
Yeah,
oh, did you guys hear about the freaking barrel they found in Lake Mead now? Because the level.
Saw a picture of it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's
well,
kind of gross.
Don't forget. So like there was civilization on that island before they turned it into a prison, because there was like a resort that the outsiders were living in.
Yeah.
It was like
So there were probably cars around there that they got.
That's right, because Don Raphael was the bad guy.
That is fair. That is fair.
You guys,
this is what happens when they turn Isla Nublar into a prison island.
Oh, if there was dinosaurs in this movie,
Isla Nublar.
oh, dude,
You didn't see No Escape 2? Dinosaurs.
They have dinosaurs in it?
Yeah, all about them. Yep.
Don't tease me, Tom.
Yeah, look it up.
I will watch the shit out of that movie.
No fact check,
dude. A freaking an island escape movie with dinosaurs?
No,
God.
they don't come into like the fifth act. It's like all of a sudden
The fifth act.
fifth act.
You know, I was a little bit. I didn't know if you were going to like this movie or not.
don't.
But I was thinking it was more because, you know, it has Ray Liotta as the main character in it. But, you know, he was good. He was good in
He's
Goodfellas.
better in those gangster
Well,
movies.
the funny thing is like, so up to this point, Ray Liotta was known for like the crime movies, the dramas. And at this point in his career, he was trying to pull a Keanu Reeves and kind of pivot to more action-oriented stuff. And this was his big, quote-unquote, action movie. And because it bombed hard, like he never really kind of followed that up. And this was also, I think, the first like non-crime movie that he was like the main character in, and audiences just didn't respond to him very well.
See, this part of the movie's cool. I'm sorry, we're watching it right now, but it's the scene where the guy. He's threatening the dude.
It's two different movies
with a giant tape.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and I like the first half, or not even the first half, but the first part of this movie better. My favorite line in this movie is when he's being taunted by the warden of the prison, and he walks away from him and he does something. He's like, "Don't ever turn your back on me again." And then the next time he turns his back on him, he freaking grabs him and puts him at gunpoint. I'm like, yes, that's the shit right there.
Did any of you pay attention to who is the director of this movie?
Nope. Who is it?
So it's Martin Campbell, the director of GoldenEye and Casino Royale and Green Lantern.
The shitty Green Lantern?
The shitty Green Lantern. Is there another Green Lantern?
I guess.
I wasn't aware of?
If you watch the movie, I don't think it's shot poorly. It's just the premise is just really hard to handle. It's just not a good premise.
The funny thing is that I
don't think it looks bad. I think it's pretty well done.
Martin Campbell is at this point in his career, he was kind of like a gun for hire director. And he turned down this movie like 3 different times to direct it. And finally he was like, you know what? I really need money for a new house, so I'm going to direct it. And that was his whole motivation for directing this movie, was so he could afford a new house.
I mean, the idea is better. I think
that command center.
It almost has like a Hunger Game vibe to it, where like they're on the island, but the island is being monitored by like high-tech facilities and stuff. It needed like
I love the whole concept of this movie.
Do you?
Yeah,
I really like it. Yeah.
Did you really like this movie? Like genuinely like this movie?
I like this movie when I watched it 12 times 20 years ago.
Okay.
That's exactly where I'm at.
What about now?
Where am I at now? Still liked it. Still enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all of these movies are going to be kind of in that same vein for me, to where these are just movies that are
Guilty
in my
pleasures.
Guilty pleasure fun spot. You know, they're not great. I'm not going to lie and sit here and try to defend people from movie snobs like you, who obviously
movie snobs,
can't enjoy a fun movie. But they're not great movies, but they're fun movies, and these are the kind of movies that I like to watch. And they're just fun, and they're not trying to like have a big preachy message, even though there are some messages there. It's just a fun thing. He gets dropped on an island. There's 2 tribes. One's a bunch of savages. One's a bunch of peaceful dudes that are trying to escape.
You know what that is, right?
Hold on.
I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, okay, so the outsiders, right? That's kind of like the representation of hardcore capitalism with the leader, and then the hippie freaking town where everybody's peaceful and everybody shares. That's socialism.
But they're really not.
Is that what you're
They're
going to
not
go
that
with?
peaceful.
I'm kind of leaning on
You're
that.
really going capitalism is the cannibals and communism is the happy.
No, not communism. I said socialism. It's different.
I know exactly what you meant.
Slight
sir.
difference.
I thought there was fun characters. The leader of the cannibal, the bad dudes.
That's Don Raphael from The Mask of Zorro.
He is
Also
funny.
directed by Martin Campbell.
He's funny to me. I really.
He kind of does have a good sense of humor.
He's a little bit over the top,
Yeah.
but he's. I think he had a lot of fun playing that character.
It seemed like it.
You know what I mean?
What about Kevin J. O'Connor's fun-sized lover?
What? Did
Did
you
I-
watch an extended version that I didn't see?
No, I'm implying a little bit, but Kevin J. O'Connor had his fun-sized sidekick.
I told you the homosexual angle is like a thing. It's a real thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when he dies, he's very distraught. But
There's not one woman in the movie.
but for Vader, that's one part of the trifecta in this movie.
Gay stuff.
I don't know.
There's no trifecta here, bro.
I said one part. Of the trifecta.
Bring in the boys.
But no, I think there's a lot of characters in this movie that I kind of got a kick out of. The like over in Father's Village, I like the guy who's like in charge of all the trades and everything. He's like, hey, those are really cool boots.
Yeah, let me have the boots.
I'll make a deal with you. We'll do a verbal agreement.
That's Kevin J. O'Connor.
Yeah.
Kevin
Kevin J. O'Connor from The Mummy.
The Mummy. He's the bad guy in The Mummy, right?
Right.
He's Benny from The
Benny.
Mummy.
Yeah, Benny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not the mummy.
There was a lot of people. I was watching it because I've never seen this movie before. And like when I saw the bad guy from The Outsiders and I was watching it, I'm like, I know that dude's face from somewhere. And I could tell his mannerisms were there. And I'm like, I've seen him somewhere before. And then it dawned on me that he was Don Raphael from The Mask of Zorro. And I freaking love that movie. And I was oh, that's him. Okay.
You know what's funny is like when I saw this movie in the theater for the first time, so Stuart Wilson, who plays Malik, who's the main bad guy in this movie, I thought he was really miscast because I was like, this guy's not scary. But like upon rewatching it, I was like, you know what? I like how he plays this villain. Like he's not like
he's enjoying himself.
Like even though he looks like a savage, he was probably like a copy repair guy.
It's like that scene where he comes in and there's all the rival gangs that make up the outsiders, I guess, what they're called. And he just like dumps all the gang leaders' heads on the steps, and he's like, "Guys, we need to get our shit together here."
Yeah.
And he goes, I just really want to be in charge. And he dumps all the leaders' heads out. And it's like, so we're going to be cool now, okay? And if you don't do what I say, I'll just fucking kill you.
And that's what he does. The one dude who questions him, like, well, why do you get to say what we do? He just chops his freaking head off. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, that's what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
Right. And they're all like, oh, so okay.
I didn't understand the freaking, the gladiator battle above the water pit thing. I thought
pure entertainment.
Yeah, it's just
they were just hazing the new guy.
I thought I was like, well, shouldn't there be like spikes or something down there? Make it a little bit more intimidating. But
that's too much work.
The giant guy with like the mangled blade wasn't enough for you.
Nah.
Yeah, but Merrick was my favorite character in this movie. I was like, let's see more.
He was a villain who loved his job.
Like for me, I could not figure out how he rose to power in the first place. But the dude's brutal.
He
comes off as like, hey, fellas.
Yeah.
How's it going?
He's your best friend until he kills you.
Yeah, but and no remorse. So total sadist.
His character has some natural charisma.
And they implied that there was a previous relationship between him and the father. Not gay necessarily, but just like they knew each other. But it could have been.
The whole thing is like subtle things.
One of the interesting things about this movie is there are 0 female characters. Like
Zero.
You don't see a single woman in this movie.
Nope.
It's total sausage.
Sausage fest. 100%.
And no hot guys either. They're all dirty.
You tell me Kevin Dillon didn't do it for you?
Kevin Dillon's he
didn't pop that shirt once. You got to pop that shirt. You want to be sexy. No, he was terrible.
Nobody was.
He was probably the worst character.
Like
if they
how really
did he end up there anyway.
Look, if they really wanted to go that direction and lean on that like little message, every single one of these dudes would have been ripped and half naked.
Oh yeah.
It would have been like Road Warrior half naked.
I was gonna say, I've seen that movie.
It would have been a Don Dakota movie.
I've seen that movie.
They would have had
it's dustier though.
They would have had leather with studs on it and like half naked and ripped as hell, like shredded dudes. These are all like fat, overweight, kind of like grimy looking dudes.
Yeah,
it would have been kind of funny if they had like one dude with a big mohawk and a little blonde gimp dude running around with a collar behind him. That would have been pretty funny.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been like Channing Tatum on a leash.
So do you guys remember the character Killian in this movie, the one-armed moonshiner guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Did you recognize the actor who played that?
I didn't.
No, who was that?
So the actor's name is Don Henderson, and he's the guy who Darth Vader chokes in A New Hope.
No way.
Yeah.
The rebel officer?
No. He's the Imperial officer who basically says like, your devotion to your archaic religion.
Oh, okay.
And then he's the guy who's like, this Death Star, and he's like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
I'd love to read that acting cred sheet because it sounds like he was just the guy that Vader choked that no one knew his name. Yeah. And that one-armed moonshine guy in this movie.
He's the dude who has like the really terrible haircut in New Hope. Yeah. Okay. And he's like,
something like that.
Okay, that's a cool little tidbit. I like that. I never would have thought about that.
I just like this movie. I had a good time with it.
Okay.
Look, it's a 90s action movie in its purest form. It's a macho 90s action movie. It's a little too macho. I do want
too macho.
Well, I want hot chicks in my macho movies.
I got you.
Right?
Okay.
I'm going to keep talking about Northman because I liked it so much. But it was the most macho movie I've ever seen. But there was hot chick. One.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
And she's super naked. And I'm like, you know
she's
what?
smearing period blood on people's faces.
She was so awesome.
Wait. Don't spoil it for me. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's kind of a spoiler.
Oh, I'm going to go see that movie.
The movie is rough.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Do not take your wife or kids.
Oh, no. This is a me time.
It's rougher than you think it's going to be.
I need to go see that movie.
I loved it. But it's right in my wheelhouse. And this is the same kind of movie to me. It's just very
dated.
It's not though.
It's not.
I think it is.
It's not dated.
It is
though.
what it is.
The costumes and
it's fun.
They could make this same movie today and it would look exactly the same.
And it's set today too.
For less money. we could make this movie for $1 million. No problem. I don't know why it costs 20.
They might use a different helicopter from the scene where they dump them on the building.
Just a rotorless helicopter that just kind of like hovers in.
I mean, honestly, let's just be real with helicopters. It's not even required.
What is a fort going to look like that you build out of wood that you cut out of the jungle?
I'm with you,
it's 2022. It's going to look more sci-fi.
No.
Totally with you.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I understand the aesthetic once they're on the island.
For me, like a hot chick warden, that would have sealed the deal for me.
Oh yeah, well that
would have made the movie awesome.
Kind of like how they did the remake of Death Race, right?
Kind of like that, yeah. Give me a hot chick warden, and this movie would have been better for me.
Megan Fox as the warden.
Yeah, but like wearing like really like sassy business suits, you know, where she was like a power woman. I would be into that.
Hashtag girl boss.
Thank you.
Same question they made for the last movie. Would they make this movie now?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see
They'd
why
make
not.
it very gay though.
It would
Do you think so?
It would be
It would
super
be on
gay.
Amazon or Netflix, and it would basically be hard to watch.
Yeah, when Ray Liotta got dumped on the island, one of his things, they'd probably like gang rape him when they brought him to the village or something.
Yeah, I mean, Outlander's very famous, and it's also very famous for man rape. So chicks love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't go there with this.
It's before all that. It's too long.
But if it's a prison movie, like, doesn't it kind of have to be more realistic?
No.
In the 90s, you don't think that happened?
They hinted at things back then, man. It was
Have you watched like?
You don't remember the 90s?
Have you watched modern prison movies?
I try not to.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Shawshank Redemption.
Like, if you don't kill the person trying to rape you in the first 15 minutes of the movie, you're dead.
Well, that's just them trying to scare you into going to prison. Prison's actually really fun. They have water slides.
I've only spent one night in a jail cell, and I never want to do it again.
I mean, you ever just hang out with the boys?
Somebody took my cereal, man.
you get a nice place to
just hanging out with the boys.
He's like, hey, you gonna eat that? And I'm like, nope. Here you go.
You work out every day, you know.
You're gonna eat that cornbread.
You can have my cornbread. I don't fucking need it.
You get that cocktail.
Like,
dang it.
Get a nice, comfortable bed. Get food to eat. You probably have internet access now.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's like
you had a wood shop. You make things out of wood.
You can order shit.
Stamp license plate.
You can have your friends order you shit from Amazon and stuff and send it in.
You can make wine in your toilet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like summer camp.
You know, it's funny because I was watching this and I'm like, this doesn't seem that bad.
It seems fun to me.
But I'm like, if I'm going to be on a prison, right? If I'm going to be imprisoned, put it on a tropical island. I'm down.
Well, I mean, that's even a plot point where the insiders or whoever the civilized part are, they're like, hey, at least like here we got a semblance of freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, we can get into the politics of world control and all, but honestly, the world we live in is not that much fun. No, I would love to go on an adventure and slay a dragon. I'll never be able to. It'll never happen. This is the closest thing I can get. If I have to go to the prison world so that I can wield a battle axe and like chop people's heads off and become like the king of the barbarians.
But no chicks,
no women.
They got coconuts.
What the fuck are you gonna do with the coconut?
You know what I'm gonna do with the coconut.
Oh, that supple coconut meat.
It's pulpy.
I'm gonna go commit a crime right now, right?
It's all hairy. It's more realistic.
I'm gonna go commit a crime. That's like a lifelong term. I'm gonna just tell the judge when they're sentencing me.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, man, can I go to that island place?
Can you just send me the island in the UK?
Can you send me to the Absolom place? That'd be really kind of fun.
There's the worst effect in the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
It is the worst effect I've ever seen.
So there's a scene in this movie where Ray Liotta gets hit by like a tranq dart, and he falls off this cliff into the water below.
300-foot cliff.
And actually, like that shot was responsible for the opening shot of Goldeneye because like it was like kind of the precursor to that for Martin Campbell's movie.
Oh, nice.
Where if you remember when we did our Pierce Brosnan Bond week.
Yeah, they had the guy actually jumped off that dam.
And so like the reason they were able to do that shot in Goldeneye was because of this movie and that shot that we just watched.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Nice little tidbit.
And also talking about getting away to a remote island. So Ernie Hudson's in this movie, the Ghostbuster.
Is the only black guy in the movie?
Yeah.
It could be.
Pretty close.
But the reason that he took this movie is because the movie that he did right before this was The Crow, and he was so he was so traumatized from the death of Brandon Lee that he was like, I just want to get away from the world. And so like when they offered to pay him to go to Australia for like 9 months or however long, he was like, that's as far away from Hollywood as I can get. I'm going.
That's interesting.
And that's the reason that he took the role in this movie.
That's very interesting.
I love those insights, Matthew. Thank you so much.
Check out our Crow episode where we talked about it.
You watched The Crow?
Yeah.
That's a tough rewatch.
It was
audio.
It is not a good movie.
It's on our it's on our best of playlist.
I love that movie.
I love it.
It's one of my favorite.
It doesn't mean it's good. Fire it up. Fire it up.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. All right, let's do final thoughts and give it a rating. Vader.
What did I give the last one? 3?
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, 3. I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna go 3. This is just one of those movies that's right in my my personal wheelhouse. I enjoy it. It's nostalgic for me. It puts me in my happy place, and I don't know what else to say about it. So
that's all you have to say. Yeah. That's what movies are supposed to do.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it does.
Cool.
I watched it several times, I believe, if I remember, when it was in the theater. I own this movie. I owned it on VHS until I got rid of that collection, and I'd buy it again if I saw it in the discount bin. So yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Final thoughts. Give it a rating, Tom.
I'm right with Vader. I think it's shot well. I think the production value is good. Mm-hmm. I like it. I mean, yeah, it's got some weirdness to it. Yeah, and you can pick anything apart. I mean, we could sit here and pick any movie apart if we wanted to.
That's what we do.
I think, but I think it delivers on what you think it's supposed to be. I think that there's a good backstory going on. The opening scene where it's just the commander standing there and you don't understand what's going on.
Oh, and then he shoots him.
Just shoots him right in the head.
Yeah,
is probably the coolest thing in the movie.
It goes full private,
and it's like the first. It's a long scene. And you don't know what's happening, and it sets up the whole rest of the movie. It's very cool. I think the movie's very well done. It's 3 stars because it's not a great movie. There's not a lot of draw unless this is what you want to see. And it's got what I want to see. This is a popcorn eating, lay on my couch on a Saturday afternoon and say, I remember this movie. And then I watch it again. And you know what? It doesn't disappoint. Like Fortress, disappointed. Because I loved it when I was young. And man, this held up. It's got a good cast. Maybe not so much the best cast, but they're recognizable actors. It's not just a bunch of B people you've never seen before. 3 stars, worth watching. But if they gave me a hot chick warden,
extra star,
give me a hot chick warden who wore like see-through blouses, 3.5 stars.
We're gonna remake this.
She's just doing her laundry and Kurt Russell staring at her.
Yeah.
Like, is this scene in all of these movies?
Boobies.
Yeah.
And there's no boobs in this movie.
Yeah,
no, not even a little bit.
I mean, for Sausage Fest, there isn't even any dick.
That's what I'm saying.
It's weird.
No one's popping shirts.
Like, there should be.
There's
something.
no oil.
Just hairless Kevin Dillon.
All right.
That's all you got to go with.
Yeah, hairless Kevin Dillon. Like, no, we got to keep him around.
He looks like a wet fucking chihuahua half the movie. He's like,
Okay, there's final thoughts. Give it a rating.
So I remember when I went and saw this in the theater, I was very disappointed walking out, and I was hyped for the movie because the commercials I thought were really cool. And I haven't seen it since then. Like, this wasn't a movie that I watched like multiple times. I went and saw it in the theater. I was like, that was a movie. And then like I moved on with my life. But upon rewatching it, I was like, I really am enjoying this movie.
Yeah.
It's a much more enjoyable movie than I remember it being. And I think it's just because like I'm old enough to appreciate what they were going for now. The cast in this movie, like, at the time it was just kind of like C-level, B-level cast, but like upon rewatching, it's like, oh, I recognize so many of these actors and they're all really good. Mm-hmm. The bad guy, Merrick, like I have a new appreciation for him having done the rewatch. Like he's actually like a really interesting villain. And I really, like, he was the best part of this movie for me. Like every time he was on screen, I was just like, yeah, give me more of this guy.
He had a good time with that role, didn't he?
He really did. Like, and I was surprised that like, I checked out his IMDb and like, he hasn't really done like a whole lot of stuff. Like he's been in other Martin Campbell movies, but for the most part, like he hasn't really like kind of broken out. And I'm like, this is a guy who I think should be in more movies because he's really good. Overall, like, it's a pretty solid movie. Like I can't really criticize it too much, especially considering like the time in which it was made. So I got to go, 3 no boobs out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah. 3 out of 5. Okay. I like this movie better than I like Soldier. I had more fun with it. The villain is by far my favorite part.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly because I know him from Zorro and I like that movie a lot. And when I saw him in this, I was like, it added a new extra layer to it that I wasn't expecting. Like you said, there's a big cast in this movie that you're like, oh shit, there's a lot of people in this. This is really cool. And my favorite moment is when the bad guy dies in this movie. It's almost identical to how the same actor dies in The Mask of Zorro, where he gets dragged from an elevator and falls off the same freaking like wooden elevator thing. It's the exact same death scene in both movies. And I was like, sweet.
I wanted to ask you guys, sorry to interrupt you, but so this movie just kind of ends It's like, Ray Liotta gets on the helicopter, flies away, and the warden with his stooge are like kind of stranded on the island. Then it like cuts to black.
And you hear the noise.
I was wondering what you guys thought of the ending and if you think it could have ended better.
And part of my synopsis for this was I did not like the ending.
I kind of did.
I felt very unsatisfied. Like, at least let me see the warden die. Like, show me that scene.
Maybe he lived, or maybe they put him on a pole and stuck him.
Oh, they turned him into pork.
And they no, they definitely did the Ewok thing with him.
Yeah,
he's on a spit.
He's on a spit over a fire with an apple in his mouth.
But the more I think about this movie, the more I want more. This is the kind of movie I could see somebody like on a streaming service revisiting and giving us like backstories of some of the characters on this show.
Turn it into like a series.
Turn it into like a series. Like, series. It's like, tell us about Father. Tell us about Father's Asian bodyguard dude. I want to know what that guy did.
One of the interesting thing was like everyone thought Father was innocent. And then like he confesses to Ray Liotta. He's like, no, I killed my wife.
Yeah.
I deserve to be here. I thought that was an interesting little twist.
It's like, give us No Escape, the story.
I can see this being like an Apple streaming show.
Yeah, something on Apple that nobody watches, but it's really
Apple
good.
will totally do. Production value is top notch.
Yeah.
Excellent B-level actors.
$50 million per episode.
$50 million an episode. No one
for sticks.
and Vader's the only one reviewing it.
I'd totally do it.
That's our podcast. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's like every Apple show.
Yeah, we talk about shows that nobody else talks about. And movies.
Hey, good time to plug Outer Range.
Yeah, our live streams on Monday nights when nobody is watching.
Plug it right now. It's a good time.
Outer Range, check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's a good sci-fi show.
It's a fun show.
It's a good show.
They have void holes.
Void holes.
Yeah.
It's a big gaping void hole.
Yeah. That's going to be the title and the thumbnail next week. Big gaping void hole.
What's your score?
I like it better than Soldier, but I don't know if I can give it more than a 2.5 because it's not.
It's fair.
The rest of us gave it 3s.
I know, but
you can't give it a 3.
I gotta make room for Fortress.
Well, that's
4-star movie or something.
No, I don't know. It's still a 2.5 for me, but it's better than Soldier.
2.5's fine.
That's all. It's
2.51.
like middle of the road. 2.51. Yeah, there you go. Slightly better than Soldier. That's it. All right. That's it for Escape from Absolom or No Escape, whatever you want to call it. Next up is our favorite movie of the week, apparently.
Why aren't you so stuck on the foreign title for this movie?
Because it's better than No Escape. I think it's a more interesting title.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want to know why you're stuck with that.
Because
it's called
I
No
told
Escape.
you, because when I searched for this movie, there was literally like 15 movies called No Escape. And I was like, that's a boring title. An Escape from Absolom, there is no other movie called that.
Everyone else is a big enough movie fan to know exactly what Vader was talking about.
Oh, the Ray Liotta Lance Henriksen movie.
There you go. There you go.
What's the Ghostbuster guy?
Yeah, isn't Ernie Hudson in that?
All the gay dudes on the jungle island. Okay, yeah, that one.
The sexy warden?
Yeah. But they have the giant orgy in the swamp pit. Yeah.
Jesus. I didn't see that.
Wow. That's in the director's
that was
cut.
edited out.
No, that's in the European version.
Oh, yeah, that's actually very possible. Like what is it, the Fast and Furious in Europe release? It's a very different movie, apparently.
I got family. All right, guys. Next up is The Fortress. Or is it just Fortress?
Just Fortress.
Just Fortress.
Fortress.
With
quit making
McLeod.
up titles.
With McLeod.
Yeah, Christopher Lambert can't put two words together. So Fortress.
Fortress.
With the Highlander.